Ohio State. All that and more coming up next.
Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by Pepsi. It's the Cola. By Chevrolet. Chevy drives the Motor City. See your Detroit area Chevy dealers today or log on to DetroitAreaChevyDealers.com. By LaSalle Bank. Proud to support the University of Michigan football program. LaSalle Bank, making more possible. And by Big Boy Restaurants. Big Boy makes you say, oh boy. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Michigan Replay. The Wolverines on Saturday defeat Indiana 41-14. Big win, a game that you kind of knew you had them outmanned, but those are the important games, and you got it done in the first half.
Well, Jim, the truth is it was a challenge for us from the standpoint of coming after a bye week and, of course, before the Ohio State game. But I thought our guys did a great job of focusing in. We didn't have the best week of practice, but I think we did have a performance that allowed us to come out of this game an improved team.
The one thing that happened in the game, though, which you didn't want to have happen, especially since Indiana was the underdog, was they struck first with a big play.
Well, it's absolutely the worst way to start a football game, particularly at home and after a bye week, and understanding that you want to come out and play your best game of the year.
And from their perspective, this is exactly the way they needed to start.
Well, there's no question. They put together a good drive. And then Powers underthrows the ball. Leon Hall was in good shape position-wise, but he just got out, fought for the ball, and now they made a play.
Well, what we see now is really a theme. You accept a penalty, take a 5-yard penalty, and get a re-kick, and Steve Breston just does the rest.
Well, Jim, you know, the wind, they were kicking into the wind, and so when they kicked it out of bounds, we decided to make them re-kick from the 30, and it paid off. A well-executed return, great field position down inside the 30-yard line.
In the 3rd and 1 play, you hit Jason Avant and keep the drive alive. And then one of the more interesting plays of the game, a tip ball that you wind up making a catch in.
Well, they didn't rush the defensive end, as you can see there, and he jumped up and deflected the ball. And somehow, I asked Kevin if he was the 2nd or 3rd option on that play, but he did get it down inside the 5.
Then the touchdown, a tough pass over the safety to Tyler Eckert.
And a great catch. I mean, that catch took great concentration, and Tyler Eckert made a play there that gets us on the board.
7-7 at this point. The defense then stiffens. You get the ball back, and then it's about getting the ball to your playmakers.
Well, I think Steve Breston had maybe one of the better days of his career, making a difficult catch there. The ball thrown a little bit behind him. He makes it look easy.
And here, you're getting the ball to Antonio Bass in different ways.
Well, we're trying to get the ball in Antonio's hands because he's a guy that has great acceleration and great speed, and he can make something happen with the ball.
And then just a hitch route to Jason Avant, one-on-one with the corner, and he beats him to the end zone for the 14-7 lead. You don't want to talk about that one?
Well, yeah, you know, Jason made a play with the corner a little bit soft. You can't afford to play off very far off Avant down that close to the end zone.
Yeah, and the other thing I thought is your defense really stepped up after that opening drive.
Well, a play that had gone for good yardage just before that, we defended it, forced him to punt, and watch this return.
Now, if he turns to the left right here, he goes the distance.
Well, I know this. Steve would love to have that one back because he had a sure touchdown.
A sure touchdown indeed, but it gets you great field position.
Well, I think that's the best thing that happened from an offensive standpoint. You couldn't ask for better field position than we had in this game. We were working towards the short end throughout the first half, and here Kevin is too high. He's got to get his pads down, something that we worked hard on, but he does get it in the end zone off the right side of the line. And now we have taken control of the game.
20-7 lead, and then the defensive line is doing a good job. Their running game was non-existent, and that really helped the whole story of this game.
Well, Gabe Watson made a good play there, and one of the things we had talked about from a goal standpoint was to hold them over under 100 yards rushing, and we did that, and I think it had a lot to do with winning.
And here are those hidden yards again where you get great field position on a punt return from Breston.
Again, Steve Breston, and the credit goes to the kickoff return, the punt team. Those people have done a good job all year.
And then you get a great run from Kevin Grady. That makes it 27-7. He just won't go down.
Well, Jim, he made a run similar to that 2 weeks ago against Northwestern, and certainly he's a guy that's going to keep churning. He's strong, and he ran through the tackle.
And here you go again, going to the air, Chad Henne to Jason Avant. And then he comes back here with a handoff to Jerome Jackson on a reverse.
Well, I like this block that Henne delivers right there, a big block on the play, and we get good field position again down inside the 20-yard line.
And then another great run by Jerome Jackson in traffic here at the goal line.
Well, the thing he does here is he continues to fight. He's up and manages to stretch the ball over the end zone. You got to be careful there because that ball gets knocked loose when you extend it out. It's a fumble.
Well, at this point, you're getting it way out of hand at 34-7, but your defense continues to play extremely well.
Well, here is a very good tackle by Morgan Trent on a scrambling quarterback, seeing the ball. We're playing zone coverage. He saw the quarterback break out of there and contained them and forced them to punt the ball.
And this is 1:39 left in the half, and you're kind of in a 2-minute mode, and boy, you do a great job of executing this drive.
Well, we've had very good pass protection throughout the first half, and Chad makes an excellent throw again to Jason Avant, who had a big day, and then a great call by Terry Malone during the 2-minute, a running play that gains 19 yards.
Then a little check down here to Manningham, who does a great job getting it down inside and stops the clock by getting out of bounds.
But Jim, earlier in the season, he kept the ball and stayed inbounds, and here today, he made a nice play, learning from his mistake and getting the clock stopped.
Then you hit Breston in the corner of the end zone, 41-7 at halftime, and that was just a dominant first half performance, and I think it had to make you feel good since they took a 7-0 lead. The beginning of that half to score 41 unanswered, you had to feel like you were clicking.
Well, I think that's one of the things that we talked about all week long, being able to have a performance that will enable us to feel confident that we were at the top of our game going into the Ohio State game.
Yeah, it got you some confidence heading into the second half. We'll be back and take a look at the highlights. The second half of Michigan's victory over Indiana, but first we hear from Prescott Burgess, who says the defense can never let up in any game.
We just had to play each game, come out and play each game like we've been doing. We let up one get behind us the first quarter, and after that we promised each other that we weren't going to let it happen again, and we did our job.
The locker room.
And we always talk about it in our room. I mean, the position, if one guy goes down, the next guy got to be there to step up and play the exact same way, to that level. So every week we just stress that. So, we never know who might go down, so you got to be ready to go.
Clearly Kevin Grady was ready to go. The Wolverines have a 41-7 lead at halftime. Now, what do you tell the team at half with that kind of a lead?
Well, this is what I told them. I said, look, we've got control of this game. We've got an opportunity here to play a lot of guys that deserve an opportunity to play, but we can't go out there and turn the ball over and give up big plays and then have to substitute back in there. And I don't want to do that. So don't ruin my day.
Well, they didn't ruin your day. Defensively, they came out to play. Here's Tim Jamison making a sack.
Well, the one thing we did, I thought, after the first drive, throughout the game, is we had good pressure up front. Guys kept them inside, and anytime your quarterback, and this is the kind of duress you're getting, it makes for a long day. And there, Sean Craven and Pierre Woods had a game on. Pierre came inside. The game was well executed, and Sean got the sack.
And here Matt Gutierrez gets the second half start.
Well, Matt did some very good things in this game, and here's a big third down out of our own end zone and making a throw for a first down to Doug Dutch, a guy that has got some playing time that's going to help him. Comes right back and hits Antonio Bass. And Antonio did a great job there catching the football and getting up the field.
Here you are in the fourth quarter, and here's Matt showing some pretty good feet.
Well, scrambles out of there for another first down. And we've got field position here and a good drive going.
But then a 3rd and 9 comes and you get a sack, and this kind of ends this drive.
Well, we get the corner blitz up at the top of the screen. We don't pick it up, and we of course, now have to punt the football.
But some of your kids that are playing on defense come in. Here's a screen that Indiana tries, and Charles Stewart blows it up.
Well, Charles has got an opportunity to play. He's done a great job on our special teams and made an excellent tackle there. Good hustle from Jeremy Van Alstyne.
And here's the one turnover you didn't like to see. You got pressure, ball pops out of Matt's hands, and Indiana gets it.
Well, you know, we had a big play set up there, and we just didn't give Matt enough time. And this Addy Andrew is an outstanding football player. And came in and hit him, knocked the ball loose.
And then their backup quarterback, McFarland, hits Kleinschmidt down in here, and then later he gets a touchdown pass here over the middle.
Well, Jim, the previous play you saw, we didn't get underneath coverage. That's a play a young player will learn from. Here, they hit the touchdown. The safety didn't get enough depth down in there. So those are all plays that young players benefit. And every player that got a chance to play in this game will learn some things.
At that point, it's 41-14. We show these plays just because you got the game won, but Elijah Bradley, running back, gets an opportunity here and does real well.
Well, Obi Olibo, who's done a good job at fullback, another guy that's done a great job on special teams, got an opportunity to play in there. And because we do have a lot of competition, it's hard to get guys as many snaps as you'd like to. But when you do get an opportunity, it's great to see a guy like Elijah make the most of his opportunity.
A 41-14 victory over Indiana. You told me after the game it was good because you needed some momentum coming out of the bye week going into Ohio State, and you got what you wanted out of this game, right?
Well, I think we did. I think we improved our passing game and lacked some timing.
And you talked over the bye week, that's what you're going to work on.
Yes, and I think our protection was good. I thought Chad threw the ball well. I thought we caught the ball very well, with one exception in there. We dropped a pass. But I thought we did some positive things, and we still can improve, and that'll be one of the things that we'll be doing this week.
You got to improve because Ohio State comes into town. We'll be back a little later with their scouting report. But first, when we come back, we'll meet Pierre Woods. But first, we hear from Steve Breaston, who says his returns are all about being prepared.
You watch film, this is our other team. You know, you try to, the coach the board does a great job preparing us. And like I said, just go out there, do my job, and you know, the blockers, you got to trust your blockers up front, trust what they're doing, and hit the holes.
Pierre Woods is one of those fifth-year seniors coaches love to have on their teams. A native of Cleveland, Woods has been a contributor since his redshirt freshman year as a linebacker. He's got a motor that doesn't stop, and he's an enthusiastic leader. Pierre says that's just the way he is. What you see is what you get.
That's the way I am. That's the way I play. I mean, I'm a fight to the very end, regardless if I'm in the game or I'm not. I'm on the sideline. I'm trying to amp the guys up, trying to get them ready, you know, for the next play. Because the next play can be a big play. It can be a touchdown, or you can be a stopping the opposing offense. So I'm always just energetic and enthusiastic and everything like that.
His enthusiasm has even brought him into the studios of Michigan Replay. Pierre works behind the scenes as a floor director during the taping of the program. It's part of his education for film and video classes. So now, after games, Pierre is working at what he hopes will be a career. And this Saturday night diversion has had its interesting moments.
It's what I expected too, but when you had headphones on and the guys in the back of the production room, the things that they be saying in the headphones, you can't laugh because, you know, it's a live show. So if I laugh or I giggle, then, you know, the studio, I mean, the people on TV is going to hear the laughter and everything like that. So it's a great opportunity. I'm happy about it, and if I could, I wish I've done it for a long time.
Some of the shows haven't been easy to do either. The Wolverines have had their disappointments this season. Pierre has felt it as much as anyone. But this is a young man who won't let it get the better of him. He's a fighter. He will battle back, and he will lead.
It's like when you're little, and you feel like you're getting jumped. And you know you got to come out swinging, because otherwise you're going to stay back there and they're going to beat you down. So that's what we're going to do. We got to come out swinging. We got to come out fighting, regardless of anything. And we got to get these victories. Everybody will see that Michigan, you know, the games that we lost, the teams didn't beat us, we beat ourselves. And that's the way I look at it.
And there he is, Pierre Woods, working after an Indiana victory. Lloyd, how about that?
He's made a great contribution to Michigan replay, hasn't he?
He has. But
Along with the guys he works
with.
with.
The picture that we see of you is where Pierre is on the camera. Now, that one will be shaky right now. Now, there it is. There's the camera. You think he's pretty good at that?
He could do better. He could make me look better than that. Come on, Pierre.
Well, everybody, you can honor this Michigan Wolverine football team. Don't forget the Michigan Football Bust is coming up in a couple of weeks. It will be held at the Laurel Manor. It's a wonderful event where you can honor this Michigan football team. They have come back from really adversity this year to get themselves in great position. Jamie Morris is this year's Master of Ceremonies. It'll be at the Laurel Manor. For ticket information, you can call 1-800-847-4764. Monday, November 28th is the date. When we come back, we will scout the Buckeyes of Ohio State. But first, we hear from Gabe Watson, who says those Buckeyes will be a definite challenge.
We're going to go up against a great team with Ohio State, and they are explosive all around. And we have to just come out and focus and prepare big time, and we can do it. We can do it.
There's a lot. I've never, as you know, have played in this game, so it's a huge game for us as a team. And my roommate Mark Beal, you know, being from Southern Ohio, he's got all his Ohio State buddies, you know, yelling at him and giving him grief about it. But he'll have his whole family up next week, and it's going to be a great game. We're excited.
Well, when you come to the University of Michigan to play football, it's about playing in big games. They don't get any bigger than Michigan, Ohio State, and here it is again with so much on the line.
Well, it's always exciting, and certainly this year is no different, Jim. This is going to be a great football game, and the greatest rivalry in college football. It doesn't get any better.
And Ohio State brings in, would you say, the best team you may see this year?
Well, I don't think there's any question. They're an outstanding football team, a great defensive football team, and maybe the most explosive football team offensively and in the kicking game that we've seen. There's no question they're a top 10 team, and they're maybe 2 plays away from being undefeated.
And they've got skilled guys that can absolutely fly. You saw Troy Smith, their quarterback, Antonio Holmes, an outstanding receiver. Here's Antonio Pittman, their running back, and then, of course, Ted Ginn Jr., who's one of those guys that basically, as you said earlier, faster than a speeding bullet.
Well, if you're not where you're supposed to be, if you don't take the proper angle, it's a touchdown. I mean, that's what Holmes can do, Ginn can do. And, of course, Troy Smith has had a great year. He's really developed as a quarterback, having the ability to make something happen, a very, very strong arm, great receivers, and a great running game.
And defensively, they've got all the statistics going there with some great players. Kudla, Hawk, Carpenter. Their linebackers are considered best in the country.
There's no question, Jim, and that doesn't, it doesn't even mention a defensive line that's experienced. They're all guys that are very physical, great pressure on the quarterback, and an outstanding secondary, a veteran secondary.
And from your perspective as you play this game and this team, how do you go about preparing, and where is your matchup with them?
Well, I think we've got to, that's what we've got to decide here in the next day or so, because the truth is we've looked at a lot of film. Now what we have to do is zero in on the things that we think are important. I mean, and I think our team understands that, you know, turnovers are always critical. We got to prevent big plays defensively.
And in the special teams, isn't it?
No question, because that's exactly what we didn't do a year ago. We gave up a big pass in the early possession. The game got behind, then gave up a big play in the kicking game. You can't give up points.
And how about your health coming into this game? Michael Hart, running back, did not play against Indiana. Do you think he will be ready to go against Ohio State?
Mike could have played on Saturday. I just felt like 3 or 4 more days of rest would do him good, and I think you know, looking back, that was the right thing to do. And I think for the most part, there's nobody right now that I don't expect to play.
And against Ohio State, from a standpoint of their defense, their linebackers, how do you neutralize them?
Well, they're a force.
You got to get a hat on them, right?
They're a force. You've got to get a hat on them. But the truth is, it's a team effort. The back has got to do his job. You're not going to block them long, and they're a very good blitzing team. So you've got to try to mix it up so that you can break some of your tendencies, all those types of things.
And it's all set up for you because Iowa has beaten Wisconsin, so things are falling in line for Michigan.
Well, Jim, the real focus we have is this game. I mean, really, all those other things are out of our control, and there's nothing bigger than this game anyway.
That's true. And for the folks out there who want to come to the Michigan-Ohio State game, you want to get involved in it. It's a blue out. Everybody wants to come in there and wear your blue to the stadium. It's a complete Michigan stadium called the Blue Out. So wear your blue when you get there and cheer for the Wolverines and make it just as loud at Michigan Stadium as they do at Ohio Stadium. And it's a tough place to play. And make sure you join us next week right here, same time, same place, when we'll talk about a Michigan victory over Ohio State on Michigan Replay.